What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. Um, so last night I watched the Superman movie. I went on live and gave my kind of raw thoughts on the movie. Go ahead and give it a watch. It was very raw because I literally got out of the theater, walked to the parking garage, got in my car, and drove back. Which all in all it took about maybe 15, 20 minutes to get back to my place. And I was just raptured in thought, um, and very excited. The movie was great. It was just a great. My family's gone. I'm kind of just working every day and then coming home to an empty house, making myself dinner. I shouldn't say empty house. I have a cat, but she only wants attention all the time. That's basically. She's very quiet otherwise. But going back to my point, there's not much going on right now. That's exciting. Um, and when I got the ticket to watch the movie, it's like I'd been talking about Superman to my, colleagues and all that. They were just like kind of asking me, "Oh, yeah, are you excited about the movie?" And obviously I was. And so, yeah, I got to spend a great night doing something I don't normally do, which is go out to the movies. And it was fun. It wasn't like a packed theater, and that kind of had me concerned. It was a later showing. It was the 10:10 showing, but I had anticipated like in the IMAX it being like more crowded than it was. I think this is a situation where because people are talking about Superman and because it's just being touted as a great entertaining film about an iconic character that we all love. And it's also bringing the excitement of new uh, comic book characters that we've never seen. That's another exciting element of this. So again, Gunn hit it out of the park. There's going to be more projects coming out. Hopefully that keeps the momentum going. But yeah, Superman's the face of this thing, and so it just really makes me happy. Hey, what's up, my boy fanboys in the house? He also watched the movie, and we just basically agreed. It was uh, such a positive, exciting um, movie, and we're happy with the version that we were given. So yeah, great movie. I recommend it. Now I'm gonna paste my thoughts about things here and there as we cover books. Okay, um, but the thing that made me most happy about last night was if this thing is the cultural sort of moment for comic books that we haven't seen in a long time, then that means like my specific comic books are going to go up in value. They're going to, I think, become hot. I mean, people are going to go after Superman books. And that has me worried a little bit because there's so much stuff that I haven't picked up. And I've been kind of lackadaisical with the pace I wanted to pick up Superman books, um, because they're affordable. There are a lot of books out there. They're affordable. It's not like you know there was any sense of urgency. The movie wasn't really. We didn't have a verdict on whether it was going to succeed or not. Right. Right. I'm looking forward to more of the gang. um, but okay, so like now we're having this shift. I think you're gonna see. So I study. I've read up on like investment strategies, and when you talk to like some of the great investors, like Warren Buffett, um, Icon. I mean, there's a bunch of investors. Their names aren't coming to me right now, but there's that have had success. Right? They're basically successful because they're able to leverage value. They were able to get value on things that maybe the rest of the market doesn't see, but they see value in its for what it is, right? You take the artifice of like market price and you just value something. Okay, this is worth a lot more than what people are paying for it or what it's worth. So we're going to gobble a bunch of this stuff up, and then the market just will turn on a dime and come right to the stuff that was like value, essentially not worth much, and all the investment will flow in there, and then that's when you get a real return. And these things are what make investors, and I'm talking about you speculators, right? You speculator buyers all out there. Um, it's what makes a good year, right? If you're buying all the comics really cheap and you sell them for like hundreds of dollars or whatever, um, or you slab them and you make even more money, right? So if you get like high grade stuff at really low prices, but that becomes like the thing everybody's looking for, that's when you have like those are the speculators or the investors that really win. And if you're doing that on a regular basis, because you know what's coming, what's down the pipeline, or what's in the market on people's radars, and you're just kind of leveraging, okay, is that going to be a big smash, or is that going to be like something that's going to just drive the books up, and we need to move. You just being a comic book collector or I should say seller is, or I should say speculator. I'm not saying this is a good thing. Okay, I'm not saying speculate buying or like investing in comic books are a good thing. I'm pointing out the folly of this, because when big movements there are in like mass market, sometimes you amass a lot of books and you sell off your Superman or DC books, right? You see where I'm headed? Like as a collector, if you're so focused on Marvel and you come across your DC collection, or you're willing to sell off your DC collection to get more Marvel, um, this is the trap, the other side of the trap. Like you can get a lot of money, right? You can make a lot of money, but you also can bet on the wrong thing and get stuck with something like Superman when you sold off all your Superman books for like $1, and now you're stuck with a bunch of Marvel that people are losing, or where their interest is waning. Marvel is with Disney. They're in good hands. They'll always have hit after hit after hit. But to have Warner Brothers Studios and DC, when they don't have the empire that Disney has, not to say Warner Brothers isn't a big studio. It's a big studio. It's a historic studio. But Disney is a behemoth in the marketing space and the cultural content space. And yeah, for DC to get this win over Marvel, it just feels like a defining moment. And I will say a win over Marvel, because I can see a bunch of Marvel fanboys being gung ho, maybe, and then using that momentum to make out like, oh, don't forget about Secret Wars. But in terms of that whole thing, I do want to watch it. I'm just not as excited about it as I am the DC stuff. But with that being said, I was always more of the Superman realm than I was of the X-Men realm. All right. Okay, so I'm going to show off books now, and what I want to focus on is if you're jumping into collecting or speculating now, like okay, Lauren, give me the stocks I should be buying. All right, I'm going to go out and try to get them cheap. But these are stocks, if you even get in now, you can maybe ride it up. All right, you can ride up the but there's no ceiling on the Superman books right now, because we don't know how far this gun project is going to go. If it's literally like a decade's worth of like DC content that people are just like snapping up season to season, then there's no end in sight. But then again, it could be short lived. You have a few bombs here and there. I think the attention it brings to the books as collectors, that'll continue, but we won't see this meteoric rise. If the comic books and the movies work in tandem, over a decade's worth of growth, I mean, that's a lot of, like year after year gains on comic book prices. So, in short, I am not going to tell you what I am focused on. I'm not going to tell you that because I still think there are a lot of undervalued keys here that I am definitely trying to target, like the cheaper ones that have maybe mid value, or even like the really high value ones that I still think are like undervalued, right? And that's what we have today in today's haul. We have some bangers that are undervalued, and I got them for 40 bucks. Like two, so I got two of them for essentially 20 bucks, which is insane to me. So, all right, fanboy, you ready for some dope drops, man? I gotta say, I have like the what do you call it? The steel touch. Would you call it touch of steel, touch of iron? I what it's like I'm picking up so much good Superman stuff, and I'm finding it in the crevices of like the back the back office. It's crazy, but we'll go over what I picked up right now. So after I show off my haul, I'm also going to show off books that I think have spiked in value just based off my impressions of the movie and where I think how it's going to impact the comic book market. I think it's going to have a huge impact on the comic book market, and it'll spike and it'll wane, but it'll continue to grow. It's just going to be a slow. I mean, there's going to be key books throughout this whole thing that collectors are targeting, but I'm talking about some of the stuff I'm going to show off. That is just going to continue to go up and up and up and up. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're an investor or speculator and you want to know, you don't understand the character, maybe you don't understand the history of DC, how it, and if you're just focusing on spec stuff through the movies, that's not necessarily going to net you the books that are going to keep its value over time, right? So hopefully that is what you're open to listening to. I will never tell you what I am targeting, but I will show you what I've targeted and give you the reasons why and why these are going to spike for whatever reasons. All right. So with that being said, let's show off the first book. And I'm going to cut. So I got 4 books for $40. And rather than talking about like, because the owner gave me a discount as well. It was about $46 worth of books he gave to me for 40. So technically I got, a good 15% discount on most of these books. So I'm not going to talk about the price. I'm just going to say I have 4 books. I spent $40. So that's $10 a book. Okay. Just think of whatever I show you, I paid across the board $10 each. And you let me know if I got value out of it or not. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, here we go. We got Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, issue number 75. And this is just Silver Age goodness right here. You've got Linda Danvers, who's Supergirl's, that's her human identity. And again, Kara Zor-El is a really interesting character, and I'm glad she's going to be explored to the depths because she is somebody who remembers Krypton being destroyed, right? Watching her family. We're talking about her origin story. We're not talking about like the modern day, that holds truth for the modern day character too, but I'm talking about her, the way she was classically introduced in comic books. It was an explosion, but like her father, who's Jor-El's brother, by the way, ends up like creating some kind of dome, and a section of the planet rips off, and they just subsist on like living in outer space on this little terrain of land, and then that terrain of land explodes and kills everybody, and they're able to shoot uh, Kara toward Earth so she could join her cousin. And um, that's what I'm excited about. Like, it's not just Superman books that we're looking at. We're looking at Jimmy Olsen books. We're looking at uh, Supergirl books, Lois Lane books. I mean, it's just a family of collecting goodness that you can just jump into. You know, your daughter might be into Supergirl, your son might be into Superboy, and now you're just getting a bunch of like Superman family books, and it's just a beautiful thing. And the kids are going to be looking for these books, whether they're reprints or whether they're like, entire collections. It's something I would have no problem my children reading as like just a cool story of from America, of Americana. Let's see. Yeah. She actually she well yeah. So like depending on she arrives when he's an adult, but um she's young. She's like in high school still, and he's like a full adult. But it was supposed to be the other way around because um he was shipped off as a baby, and she was his babysitter, and she was tasked with like caring for him. um and when they're telling her, hey, when you join your cousin on Earth, he's going to be older than you because you've been hanging out here and um aging, and then you're going to go through light years of catching up, and you'll still be a kid, right? So um yeah, this is not a key book or anything, right? It's not a key book, but it's $100 book, I believe, in high grade, right? It's $100 book in high grade. And we have, again, all these books, grade was taken into consideration when we bought it. But what we have here is, I would say, a good 3.5 as is. Okay, it's got some creasing here, but you can't really see it. And with a press, it might not even look that bad. The spine definitely needs like some work. A lot of ticks and indentations there. But it's vibrant, even though the edges are yellowing. The color is still vibrant. It's not. It's supple. The paper quality is still supple. There's a little bit of like weathering damage throughout the book, so it's kind of off, off tan. Well, it's about light tanning, I would say. Um, so yeah, solid. I would say 3.5. Presents beautifully just because of the colors, like I said. Hasn't faded, and it does still look inventive. So solid mid grade book. I wouldn't. In terms of like pressing this book and maybe getting some of the dirt and cleaning it properly. This could definitely get like up to like a 4 or 5, maybe even a 5. I mean, the staples are still good. Everything's still good about this book. It's just some of the creasing at the edges and the overall weathering of the book that I think would impact its value. All right, this next one, again, so like $10 for all of the 4 books that I'm going to show off at the start of this haul here, this is my haul, 4 books essentially. So this is Action Comics 244. It's an iconic cover because it's Superman just hanging out at the seafloor, still rescuing our Navymen in this incredible cover here by Kurt Swan. Absolutely one of his classic covers, I would say. We've got Action Comics 244. Now, this is a very low grade book. I would put it at like a 1.8. It's just hanging on by its last legs there on a spine that's just got big chunks, kind of like rips and chunks missing. It's still surprisingly supple for a golden age book. Um, and again, it just has a lot of dirt on it. I was just kind of wiping it down earlier, and all this dust and dirt came off. The reason I wasn't more aggressive with cleaning this is because it's so brittle. It's just wants to fall apart. So the less we can touch this, the less I did kind of clean it off, but nothing happened. The issue was when I was putting in this mylar, it just one of the little edges here got caught, and it kind of not that it ripped or flaked anything off, but it was kind of like it had moved, and so I had to very carefully move it back, get it under. All in all, it didn't impact anything wrong with the book. The book was already just manhandled, but yeah, it's just a beautiful cover right there. 244, the Sea King. So it's called, what is it? Superman's Undersea Kingdom. So he's the king of the sea. Maybe there's an Aquaman appearance in this. I don't know, but no, this is before Aquaman. Well, I don't know if Aquaman was even introduced by this time, but probably not. Right. I mean, it's just I had to put it in the nice Mylar because just it's a 10-cent classic cover. I don't know much more to say outside of that. So nothing key about this book, but if I were an investor, I would try to get copies like this in my possession when this is like, because I think low grade of this book is right considered $40, but I would put this even lower than 40 because there's low grade and then there's this like like really low grade book. Um, but again, it's complete and it's just got chunks missing. It still is attached by the staple by one resilient state. That staple's gonna survive. I mean, look at that. You see, it's just like wedged in to the book, so that will survive. Um, just other parts of the book. Guess when the other staple popped, that's when. Or I think somebody no, because these are rusty staples. No one. The second staple isn't even attached. I assumed the staples weren't attached, but the staples are still attached. Wow, I got this for a really great deal then. Because that would make this like I would just bump it up to like a 2 or 2.5 then. 2.5. Well, yeah, even a 2 on a golden age book. This could get a 2.5. I feel like it could get a 2.5. All right, well, there you go. Staples are still attached. I assumed that was like a detached cover, but this staple is that still hanging on strong and rusty and all. And then that staple right there, still on there, still hanging on. Where is it? You see it? I can't see it. Right there. It's just brown. There's just like a brown line there. It's basically the rusted staple, if you could see it. I think that's it right there. See it. So yeah, staples are still attached. Boom. Wow. That's kind of cool for $10. $10, all right. All right, this next one is I think this one is, to be honest, this is just one of those like things that like will become an investment. Like if there's a good example of a stock that everybody will kind of hype up and build the value and then the pyramid comes, is that meme stock. Remember like the what was it, the video game stop was that it? The retail video game chain, right? Somebody on the internet like just made it like a meme or something and said, let's invest in this. The meme investors just poured money in, and then everybody started getting in on it, and it moved the needle on this. Uh, I think it was Doge or some of the crypto, was something like that. Um, but on this video games, retail video game stock, and it went through the roof, and then it fell down. Um, but I feel like this one is a bit like that. At the height of whatever this thing ends up selling, it will sell for something ridiculous. Um, so I don't know how to look at this. I think this is so what I'm holding here is World's Finest 153. This is the meme where Batman slaps uh, Dick Grayson, and that image, that panel, has been turned into like a meme for like people are being stupid on the internet, right? And this book did reach some heights in terms of like being an investment in a collection, but then that kind of that trend faded, and this book kind of dropped in value, right? It was going for like everybody wanted to get the meme book, right? It was just like selling for thousands and all that, and then the price dropped, right? And it just settled on something reasonable. But I think this one is going to go back up because at some point we're going to get a version of World's Finest. We're going to get Superman, Batman teaming up, whether it's going to be in the movies or whether it's going to be at some point we're going to get Batman and Superman working together, right? And that's when the World's Finest. Well, the books should start spiking now, but you know you're going to cycle in, maybe cycle out Supergirl books, and you're going to cycle in like World's Finest books for the hot keys that week. Whatever the however it unfolds. Um, Basically, this is a really nice copy, and I'm really shocked that I got this book. To be honest, like I said, I paid the basically $10 for this, and it is in great condition. It's a solid 5.0. It needs a clean. Um, no real no real creasing throughout it. There's just some stains here on the back, which Roger can remove stuff like that. Um, there's a little bit of dinge and some like indent, just like impressions, right around the top there. But yeah, this with a clean and a press. Oh man, I shudder to think what this could get up to in terms of grade and value. Because again, I think once collectors flip toward DC, because that's what they want DC stuff. They want Superman. They want Batman. They want World's Finest, Silver Age stuff. I think that day is here, if not already. Um, this is just a great book. I mean, just the cover alone. Ow, my archfoe Batman is on the loose again. He's KO'd me with a kryptonite batarang. You fell into my trap, Superman. Revenge. How sweet it is. So it's like, sorry, I made Batman sound like a douchebag, but the imaginary novel, the saga of Superman versus Batman. So this is like one of those like what if type stories, right? It's not really part of it's an imaginary somebody's take on if they could just do anything with the characters. This is how they write them, and that's why you get these different approaches. Um, so again, just a classic book. It's a key. We have a 5.5 looking copy. We've got um, so the biggest issue with this book is right here on the plane. We got stress lines that break color. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Other than that, there's a little bit of like just dirt and dinge throughout the book, so it could use a clean. Corners are still relatively good. And top there is good too. No creasing throughout the book. Just needs maybe some eraser time, or like I don't know, just a good cleaning, I guess. And I think this is something Roger would have a field day with, hopefully, and just make it look fantastic. Because I think uh, having this look fantastic, and again with the investment type value of high grade books like this, um, I I just feel like I won the lottery with this one today. For $10, we got like a fine copy, potentially fine plus, maybe even into the VF range, depending on how like clean we get it. But it's already like this is already like an orangish cover anyway. It's not like you're looking at a white cover here. It's already like, like one of these like tan like covers for the run. Um, that is what really makes this an exciting pickup, because collectors are going to be targeting this book because it's a DC key. And when you look at how meteoric uh, DC keys went up during the whole like MCU phase, right? Think about that kind of growth. That's the prospect I am like facing here right now. Like just more growth into DC books. You start to see the DC books rise in value year over year, and this book in particular is going to be one that's coveted for that, you know, dick slapping panel. That's literally what it is. It's a dick slapping panel, right? Um, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of, young people are going to be into it. Old people are going to be into it. It's just one of those books that once people want to start buying it, and again, there are a lot of copies of this. The key is to like have it in like a presentable mid to high grade kind of book. That's where you're going to see a lot of the value, uh, where collectors want to pay a little bit more for. But man, this one, I looked out, man. I looked out. I looked out. All right. More books to be picked up, though. I've still got $38 left. Sorry. Sorry, that math is off. I've got $38 left. $38 left to my name. And I think we're gonna spend it all tomorrow. Because I'm gonna go over to visit my man Jeff, see what's cooking in the 25-cent bins, and then we're gonna head right to All American Comic Books and pick up another like high grade Silver Age book, which we think he hasn't maybe priced out yet. Um, the thing is, so where did I get these books? I got it at my LCS, um, Bellkirk Coin and Stamp, and I am on great terms with the owner there. Um, I came in and we talked a little bit about Superman. He's like, yeah, Superman. I'm hearing people are coming in wanting to see Silver Age Superman. They're like asking for Silver Age Superman, and it's in the back. I've never been in the back. He's brought out books to me, but he's never said, like, come back here. Uh, but today, like, I kind of went in, I dug in the 50-cent bins, or sorry, the 50% off bins, but none of those books were really high grade. They were 50% off for whatever reasons, either low grade or he didn't see maybe that he could move the bucks unless he dropped the price. But the really nice sort of the fuller run Silver and Golden Age books were in the back, and he has them for all the DC titles, and he's just got long box after long box of stuff back there. And Adventure Comics, Superman Families, Jimmy Olsen Superman, Lois Lane, some Supergirl there, Wonder Woman, and Action Comics, Adventure Comics, Superman Comics. All of it was back there in terms of like the Silver Age stuff, and we dug through all of it. And again, I'm kind of showing you just the highlights from what I felt was like worth picking up. And then we took that 4 book stack, again, like $47 in total. He, I just said, can you do 40 on the books? And he said, yeah. And so boom, walked out with a discount on the books and picked up some freaking thunder. All right. All right. This last one is really, I think, for me as a Superman collector, it's just an instant love affair. Okay. And I just love this cover. And it's in an incredible condition. Because I just showed you this one, right? That I think this would get a 5, and then maybe sorry, it'd get a 5, and maybe we could bump it up to a 5.5, maybe even a 6. This one, as is, I would say, is at a 6, and we could bump this all the way up to a 7.5. I mean, this looks incredible. It just needs some TLC. That's all it needs, and it would look very fine, very, very fine. What we have here is World's Finest 154, and we've got a date stamp there, and outside of that, it's a very solid book. Not a lot of it's First of all, it's still vibrant. It's still very white in terms of its page quality on the cover there too. So it's been kept in relatively good, very good condition. Again, it's just it's a little needs a good clean. Its spine is still really the staples. This edge staple there, well, the staples are rusty, but the edge staple there just looks a little stress. Like there's a little bit of stress, but this other one is a little stress tears there as well. So the staples are just kind of like typical stress tears if you would have read the book. Nothing major. It is in really, really fantastic shape. I'll just give you a kind of a close up here. And what we're looking at is the very next issue from the meme issue, 53, 154. This is the first appearance of the Super Son and Bat Son, the sons of Superman and Batman. And they're, Kal-El is not playing nice here with, or Kal-El Jr., I should say. Superman Jr. is not playing nice here with the Bruce Wayne's kid. Is holding the seesaw with one finger and not letting him down. And then Batman just basically says, "Hey man, you're super brat. Will you please tell your super brat to stop picking on my boy?" And it's just incredible goodness right here. Okay, the first appearance of Super Son and Bat Son, I guess. Bat Boy and Super Boy. Although this is not Superboy, it's Superman's boy. But you get what I mean. Right? The sons, basically, I should just stick to the script. The sons of Superman and Batman, the first appearance of the sons. And they do a lot of cool stuff. They go on a camping trip together. They do some father and son activities. I think they go maybe to a ball game or something and eat hot dogs or do some American stuff like that. That is basically what I picked up. 4 books for $40. I mean I know you guys are being like, come on, man, where'd you get these books? Really? No, I'm serious. I went out today. We went to Belkirk Coin and Stamp, and he had it priced like this, and I said I'm gonna buy these books because they're undervalued. You just don't know how high the ceiling would go on some of these books. I hope very, very high. But I'm not a speculative buyer, but I've been buying shares of Neil Adams. I've been buying shares of like DC key books, stuff like this. We'll go through this. I'm now going to get into the what I think are undervalued stocks. Okay, these are, if you're going to be an investor in comic books, let me be your financial guru with what to pick up. I will never tell you what I am targeting, but I will show off what I've already picked up, and you can uh, either agree to buy it or disagree to buy it. It's up to you. Um, One exciting prospect of this venture, you got to look out 10 years, right? There's going to be 10 years worth of content coming down the pipe. So that means we really have an opportunity to have like every character introduced, like every character, right? Um, all the major ones at least, but no stone left unturned because just like Marvel and just like DC, you have crossover stuff, you have big events, and you just like, we're just gonna, you can't bring every DC character, but you're gonna have to select and choose the ones you want to bring in. And right now, um, I would say Tom King, if you're targeting modern books and you're into the movie hype, I would pick up more Tom King books, DC Tom King books, because the reason I say this is because Tom King had a big role here in the Supergirl project. So he and Gunn are having comic book conversations around the characters. Okay. And so they're going to bring in a version of Tom King's Batman, Lois, Selena, Kal-El double date. They're going to bring in that. They're going to show that off at some point. Again, my speculatory thoughts on what I think will happen. But they're going to explore that. And also they're going to explore Strange Adventures, the basically, Adam Strange. Tom King just did a short run on Adam Strange, and basically kind of rewrote him for today's audience. And I can just see like some of the first characters that we're gonna really get a sense of in terms of the movie, maybe is Adam Strange, just getting like a standalone Adam Strange movie, and then he works his way into the gang, essentially, right? So we don't know who's gonna be in this gang, dude. Um, the gang could be you got the Trinity in the gang for sure, okay? But the level of their involvement in gang related activities is yet to be known. But I'll tell you this, right now with Guy Gardner, the weirder, the kind of the more unconventional superhero you have, you're going to see, some reference to it. But I think, again, Adam Strange, we got this beautiful Neil Adams. This is high grade, man. This is like almost, I would say, a near mint copy. I would say it's at least a 9.2, if not higher. Just a fabulous Neil Adams book here, which I picked up on the cheap, again, from Kirkland Bell Kirkenstamp. I picked this up from the old man's shop. So the old man invites me back on the hall today. He's like, because I said, hey, do you have Silver Age Superman? He's like, I'll bring it out to you. And I just thought, all right, I'm going to get the big box of Superman stuff. But then he realized, you know what, I'm old and you're young. Why don't you come back here? And he invited me back. And I got to see the back. Like, he has coins and a lot of, stuff back there that's valuable. So just to go back there and for him to like kind of leave and let me dig was just, a sign of like, hey, you're cool. And so, yeah, I just took down long box after long box, and again, dug for the haul that I was showing you. But the old man has a lot of good DC stuff there. And he prices it to grade, but he's priced it to grade many years ago, and I just feel like he has to cycle in some of the update. I just hope he does it slowly so I get to. I was just telling him, like, um, there's a lot of this stuff is people are going to come in and look for it, and I basically give him a heads up, like, have you updated the pricing? Maybe you should. And he kind of like looked at me weird, and then was like, "Oh, yeah, I already updated the prices." So that's his, again, his concept of updating the prices. I guess he's just never. He's had these Superman books for so long, and he's been like, these things never go up. There's just so many of them, and he's probably the more savvy seller. But again, um, these books are definitely worth kind of repricing in my view. I would definitely do that because I've already repriced them in my collection. I automatically add just more value on my DC books and my Superman, Batman stuff now, because you just that's when the pendulum swings back the other way in terms of popularity and momentum. DCU is just set up to really have a good run. Marvel's kind of they've just been gassing along, and it's just like all the stars got old, and it's just they've got to start something new uh, that feels better than what was previously given, and that's a hard thing to recreate with a new. Hey, what's up, Damien? All right. Anyway, we picked up really cool stuff like this, Damien, today. So again, you won't believe I got this one for essentially $10. I got all of this stuff for like $10, but this is like mid to high grade. Well, it's a solid mid grade, but with some tender love and care, it could look a lot better than it is. Great condition. This is the meme, the Robin slapping panel meme book. All right, continuing on with the stocks. If I'm basically saying stocks because if you look at comic books like stock investments, which uh, I'm not saying you should do. I am not advocating that at all. I am abhorrently opposed to stuff like that. Just buy stuff that you love and just keep it. If it's a high market for it, be patient, wait for the markets to come down, and then when it does go down, get it. Um, and anyway, I'm just going to cover what I think because I watched the movie yesterday. I'm just going to continue to cover what I think are going to be the books collectors are going to target. And so I just showed off a great Neil Adams cover there on Justice League of America. Here's another Justice League of America, and that I think people should seriously look at this Giffen de Mateus run and accept the fact that this is what Gunn is building toward. Okay, Gunn is building toward, at least in terms of the writing tone and the relationships that these characters have. He is going to have as many of these core characters, minus Batman. Batman's I don't think going to be there from the start, but he's going to have these other core characters in there, and maybe like a reverse introductory, kind of position. It's not going to be exactly like comic books, but he's going to have the essence of this team there in his movies. So yes, this is definitely a hot book. We got signed by Kevin McGuire during the whole. Actually, I got this copy signed. I got it at Jeff's, and I got it for $20. And he looked at it and was like, "Oh, that's a signed copy. I should probably charge you more." He joked about it, but he gave it to me anyway. I already told you. I mean, basically, a lot of the value I picked up in my personal collection, what I targeted were Neil Adams books. So I don't have to really. I mean, I think Neil Adams Superman books have already been a target of the collecting community to begin with. And if you picked up some of the big ones during the past couple of years, I think that's a good investment. I think that's one you're just going to continue to have long term growth because all his images are iconic. They're just iconic And that's what I've said. Like I've always argued, Neil Adams' legacy character is not Batman; it's Superman, and he has the more iconic stuff when it comes to his comic book art. Superman is what much more up Neil's strengths as an artist than I think Batman is. Not taking nothing away from his Batman. His Batman is incredible too. It's just I don't like how collectors like try to pigeonhole Neil Adams without recognizing what he did best and the character he loved the most to work on. So um, all of that, if you need past, neglect that kind of stuff, that's just irresponsible collecting. And I was able to pick up a lot of Neil Adams stuff for cheap. So just so glad I did that. Welcome, Wellbore, Damien. We got people wanting to see what I am and telling you guys to maybe target and pick up. So this is a definite, this 100-page Superman wraparound cover, Neil Adams cover, is a must-have for Superman collectors. So target it now when you can still maybe get it. Target in high grade because this is a very hard book to get in high grade because of the size and the spine. But man, Roger worked on this book and just made it look fantastic. So thanks, Roger, for caring for that book. This is going to see higher legs now. It's $40 now. I'm sure it's going crazy on the internet. Crypto stole the show. Okay. There's no two ways about it. He stole the show and he's going to continue stealing the show because there's things going on there. Right. And then now I'll give you something to target. Super Pets. That's a low hanging fruit right there because they've already teased, CGI monkeys in this Superman movie. So we already have the introduction of and then Superman jokes about having a cat. There's some cat humor, so Streaky's in the pipeline. Streaky, and then what's the horse's name? I'm forgetting I'm blanking on the horse's name, but the horse, the horse is on its way. Maybe in the next movie, the horse will be in it. So we just have to see what happens. But these animals are coming, and again, this will be a fan favorite. This will be one I think, and there's a lot of copies. So you could get it for maybe, and I'd target it at like $10, 10, $20 right now. But again, this is just get it now, man. Get it now before it starts to just really have like a dog life of its own. So get that. Get anything Alex Ross and Superman goodness. Okay, don't forget that. So you got Alex Ross, you got Neil Adams. You need to get all that stuff. You need to get stuff like this, the Hamburger Munching cover. This is another low hanging fruit key book. Key for its cover. You got a Nick Cardy cover here of him chopping down hamburgers. Just paints the era of his popularity throughout the years. Look at that. Woo! That's goodness right there. Oh yeah, and this is another one you should invest in. This is a $3 book. It's Todd McFarlane's fan letter into Superman. I mean, how cool is that? I know if you're collecting Todd McFarlane, that you would want his essentially first entry into the comic book medium, which is in the pages of this book. So again, got this for $1.50. It's ridiculous. I got this for $1.50. It's high grade, and it's one of my investment picks. All right. More goodness. Anything, DC where he's on covers with like Flash characters or Justice League characters. This entire run, I would say, is just hotter now. As a collecting series, it's a fan favorite. Who doesn't love DC Comics Presents? Because it's just these like pair ups. Absolute fantastic run. And I picked up number 1 for $1 this summer, and it's a fantastic grade. I would put it at like a 6.5, 7 maybe. There's a little bit of corner wear there, but everything else looks really, really good on a dark book. Take a look at the spine there. Really nice. So I mean, I'm looking at a 7, maybe 7.5 on this one. Could definitely use a press. So boom. I've got 38 bucks left, man. I would no. Don't worry about it. You talking? So I have a separate budget. I have a separate budget for Japan, so don't worry about that. All right. I'm able to go. I'm still going to Japan. I'm running out of my summer comic book budget. I got $38 of American comic book money left. So I think it's going to be gone by tomorrow. Um, I just want to pick it up and just sit on it. I will continue to pick up stuff, but in terms of when we have money like this, we obviously want to pick up the bigger stuff and reserve the smaller stuff for later. I picked this up for $1. It's high grade. It's a key issue of Superman Family, where again, you got the double dating situation thing going. That is going to be in the DCEU very soon. It's a thing Tom King wrote really well. He obviously is going to get more of an advisory position with his content kind of floating out there in Supergirl. And so he's going to continue to focus on what he thinks how these storylines should. He's just gonna be like, use my comic book content, please. Like, just rip it, and rip it out, and just plug it into the movie. But yeah, you got this great Batman and Selena wedding, uh, or anyway, it's basically playing that duo, Selena and Bruce, and they're watching Lois and Superman get married. This is an alternative, you know, like reality, and really is not part of the real timeline. But that's what makes these great. These Superman family ones. They're just fun stories, just fun stories, and this is just a great reason why DC it has always been better than Marvel. It's always been better. I don't think it's ever been. It's been more popular, but it's never been better. Marvel's been more popular, but it's never been better. And as much as I would hate to say, like what Stanley did at Marvel, all the characters he created and all the stories there that led to the rise of what Marvel is today. As much as I want to say those stories are great, those stories aren't that great. They're innovative to a certain degree. They have a different tone than DC to a certain degree, but I don't know if I would necessarily um, say that style is better than this classic DC style. But it's apples and oranges, right? Don't get caught up in stuff like that. All right, we got more Neil Adams stuff. Goodness, pick this one up for $1, high grade. Oof. Stock investments. This Lois Lane cover, the Superman kissing Lana, and Lois is just getting jealous. This is my high grade looking mid grade copy. The cover's detached, but it looks amazing. This just feels like a museum find. Um, I want to really pick up more like Golden Age Lois Lane, like that's in good condition, because I just think that's still way, way, way undervalued right now. Um, yeah, I've seen. I think Lady Fantastic picked up Super Pussy, right? Lois Lane's the Super Pussy cover, and I was just like, man, it looked fantastic. It was like kind of like mid to low to mid grade copy, but it had a high grade look to it. It just looked incredible, and I'm just like, wow, that's a book I would have loved to pick up. It's just skyrocketing now. It's been skyrocketing, and I just didn't pop up this summer. I know actually there is a copy but I know what he's asking for it, and I can't afford it. So it's just maybe if I had poured my entire comic book budget at the start into that one book, I would have it. But that's not what happened. So I can't dwell on it too much. It is gnawing at me, though. I should have picked it up earlier. Who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we'll spend on it at some point. Or we'll just get like a really dingy, beat up copy and spend a ludicrous amount of money on it. We'll see. There's copies out there. Something maybe for a future comic book show when things kind of subside in the DC stuff. All right. Don't have to tell you why this stuff is uh, spec worthy. This is the ground floor for prices. You're gonna find these in dollar bins. Get them now. They're gonna retain some value, I'm sure, at the end of this entire thing. And it won't be a dollar book when all is said and done. Right? Just pick it up now. All right. I do want to tell a story about this book. So last year, I was obsessed with picking up stuff last year as well, and we were targeting some really key books, big books. I was really focused on back then. I kind of regretted all the focus I was still picking up Superman books, but in terms of the where I was spending the money, I was just spending a lot on this and that, like trying to pick up Wonder Woman stuff, trying to pick up a lot of Fantastic John Byrne, Fantastic Four stuff, um, and a good amount of DC stuff. Right, DC books were still like I think I picked up these two books last summer, if I'm not mistaken. So did pick up a lot of goodness. I don't want to make it sound like I didn't pick up anything Superman. I picked up a lot of Superman. This particular book, though, I was debating between getting this or getting a Golden Age book where it's the famous cover where Lois Lane is in a Superman costume, like a Supergirl costume, and she's carrying Superman. It's a 10-cent cover. I had an opportunity to get this book or that book. That book was a little bit more expensive, if I remember. That book was, I think, 120 $20. The copy I was looking at. The copy was also, I want to say, it was brittle pages. It looked to be complete, but it was like, I would say, low to mid grade copy, right, of that book. So I thought it was a little bit overpriced for what it was, but now no, that's something I probably should have picked up. But at the same time, I'm glad I picked this one up because this one we spent $85. And although it's a solid mid grade copy, I'd put it at a 5.55. 5.5, yeah, 5.5. It looks fantastic. Um, it looks incredible though. Even though it's a mid grade book, it looks incredible. And we have Action Comics 285. This is a big key issue for Kara Zor-El. It's where she gets to enjoy being a superhero and being recognized for her good deeds, because she's kind of working as like Superman's sidekick and just blurring. People think she's Superman because they're too. She's moving too fast for people to really see who's saving them. And basically, yeah, Supergirl kind of lingers in the shadows for a bit, and then boom, she's like introduced to the world, and the world loves her. I mean, it's just like ticker tape parades here and there, and then she saves Earth. She saves America from this like alien invasion, and uses her wits to get out of that situation. So it just a great character. I love this issue. This issue is just what I wanted in my collection. And so I had to make a choice between that Golden Age Lois Lane book or this one, and I selected this one. And I'm glad I did. We just got a great copy here. This is a book that will that deserves to be uh, much higher than what it currently is valued at. So I'm glad I got in at the ground level because, you know, it's just going to continue. It's just going to continue to grow. I felt bad. I got this. It's high grade. I want to put it at like a 7.5. It doesn't even need a press or clean. I mean, it could benefit from a press or clean, but it doesn't really need one. We got Superman 180, the girl. Superman is beaten by a girl issue. Got this for $10, and it's ridiculously high grade. So I just felt like, yeah. Now more and more I think about it, man. I got this. You can't get this book for $10. I shouldn't be getting this book for $10 at any level, whether Superman's like the most hated character on earth or whatever. I should not be able to pick up this this quality of this book for $10. Um, it's at least $100 book in this grade. Um, and if you can get it for $100 in this grade, do it. I just see very long and lovely legs on this comic book for a long time to come. This is not going to be worth a lot, but I think as a collector, if you're a Superman collector and you're looking for stuff to pick up, not everything has to be expensive, right? This is a $3 book, maybe a dollar book in your quarter bin. So for you kids who want to read something that's really a core part of what you're seeing on the screen right now in terms of the movies, um, I would recommend going out and getting this entire series just to read. You're going to enjoy it. The artwork in this, the storytelling in this is by an absolute legend, John Byrne. So much thought went into this reimagining. He put um, basically kind of what Gunn is doing right now, okay, with the movies. He did this with comic books back when Superman's popularity was dwindling. And it, from a comic book perspective, he built an incredible um, post-crisis universe together. So, as a collector, you got to pay homage to the legends that have brought us to where comic books are today. Okay, and that is what this book is. It's the first variant cover. You want that in your collection, right? Uh, Again, fantastic series. Get the variant cover. Get it for cheap while you can. While you can. All right. Whew. All right. This is another book we picked up last summer. High grade. I'd put this at. I mean, if you're grading this, I would give it a 7.5 without even blinking, but could be higher. Um, this book looks to have been pressed and cleaned and all that, so this is just ready to go into somebody's grading. Um, Maybe get encapsulated, but we got a Neil Adams signed classic cover, The Case of the People versus Superman. This is, I don't even remember what I paid, but I'm telling you, I underpaid for it. That's all you need to know. I underpaid for it. All right. We've got Superman fighting himself, a motif that you see throughout movies, comics, and television. Superman fighting some version of himself, some twin version, bizarro version, whatever the case may be. It's you know what I mean? This is just a classic cover. I got this for $20 at the comic show. Again, ridiculously cheap because it's this in this grade. It's $100 book for sure. You're looking at like a 7.0 copy of this. Absolutely fantastic looking book. Woof, 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 woof. This one we picked up like 20 to $30 as part of like a haul. This also I would in this grade I'd just say it's like a $100 to $200 book. Absolutely high grade copy there. looks fantastic. Gotta love Kurt Swan stuff. Yeah, I think we're all fairly well positioned for the next decade, us DC collectors. But again, we don't have everything, right? This is, I mean, I got this for a quarter. I got this for a quarter, guys. Okay. Wonder Woman's coming. Wonder Woman's coming. Will they have a romance? Will Clark have kind of have a two lady situation going? Sky's the limit. You don't know what's going to happen. Thus, you don't know what to target. Thus, you just got to wait. Pick up classic stuff like this, though, man. Come on. Barbara Gordon. We picked up this last summer as well. Now, today, the old man had a copy of this too, and I was like, his copy looks better, but he had it for like $70, and I was like, I got mine for like 25. So again, I love the mine does have a little issue there. That's what's keeping it from really being an incredible like $100 cup book. But I think this in this condition, it's still gonna get there. But yeah, boom, there you go. Classic stuff right there. We got more classic Neil Adams stuff. That's always these are stocks to invest in right now. Cover like this. I just felt like, yeah, we're gonna see some form of Dead Man, right? Dead Man's coming, and we're gonna get this as the template for that Dead Man. So that's how the character is gonna look for sure. The Supergirl cover, that's fun stuff to invest in, man. Batman 200, fantastic looking mid-grade copy here. Pick that up. We got the retelling. This is a reprint of the first Superman Batman team up or meeting. Golden Age goodness. This is the Neil Adams reprint. You obviously want this because you can't afford that. You won't be able to afford that, but you can afford this while supplies last. All right. And then we got more Neil Adams, Kurt Swan goodness right there. So there you go. That's just some investment advice from your otaku on the collecting landscape for the next decade. I'm just letting you know it's a good time to buy now. The earlier you get in on an investment on a growth curve like this, the smarter investor you're going to be. All right, so feel free to subscribe if you feel like you want more investment advice down the road. That's what these haul videos are a little bit about, right? Just to get you excited about my books, and and we'll go from there. We're having so much fun this summer. Superman's brought out a very joyful, playful side in me that wasn't there since I was a little kid, and I think I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy the movie, and they're going to have their own individual reasons, but it's going to be from the movie, right? The enjoyment they're getting around Superman and all that, it's because of the movie. They may be learning about this character, or it's the first time they've been emotionally invested in a character in quite a while. And that's where it falls short of the I do like the movie. It was entertaining, but I'm liking what the movie is doing, causing other people to do. That's for me is the bigger reason I enjoyed this version, or why I'm thankful to God. It's because at the start of this project, that's all I was hopeful for. Go back and watch my video. In that video where I'm giving my thoughts about what Gunn needs to do for this project, for it to be successful, in my view, is to just uh, give Superman his authentic portrayal, like the Reeve portrayal, a comic book authentic portrayal, a classic image, one where he's the hero, one where, yeah, he's got all these human flaws, but from I am efficient, I am the greatest, like, you know, I can do feats of great strength, feats of great bravery. And for me, it's all easy, just it's almost too easy, right? Give me that Superman, right? I don't need more of the modern, like, yeah, the modern, he deals with like stronger foes and all that, but I like the classic, like, I'll swoop in, I'll save everybody. You guys just have a nice day. Thanks for, you know, thanks for letting me save you. Kind of like good deeds, right? So we need a lot more of that, which we got in the film. So happy there. He just had a very comic book Superman, fan friendly. That's what I appreciated about the movie. It was a fan friendly portrayal of the character. Is a fan friendly written, and definitely he's the centerpiece of this DC universe that Gunn is making, and Gunn made sure to communicate that in this film. He's like, as great as these like peripheral characters are, don't forget you're watching Superman. That was front and center, and that is what's going to ignite the passion for all these other projects, hopefully. But great way to kick it off. Great way to kick it off. Just boom, give them your best and have them come for more, right? DC just knocked it out of the park for sure. Um, well, more. All right. Well, I'm just going to show off what I picked up again, just the highlights of what I picked up. Um, just two big kind of investment specs. I just thought, these are books that if they're going to have legs, and these are the books that comic book collectors are going to be looking for, might as well get them now. Just have them, because these are books I wanted in my collection. They're on my want list. I've just never gone around to like picking stuff up or being focused enough to pick stuff up when I should. But again, Superman's created a little bit of a FOMO, lit a FOMO to my fire, and I definitely am not wanting to spend a lot on the Superman stuff moving forward. For me, it's about finding the value. I still think, as this is where you don't have the luxury in a stock market. In a stock market, you don't have the luxury of, like, if everything's gone up, you can't buy that thing for cheap. But in a comic book market, when everything's gone up, you can still find nuggets like this somewhere in some old dude's, like, garage, or maybe a comic book show where he doesn't value what he has. So there's still little pockets of opportunity to do that. What I'm curious to see is, I'm going to go to Jeff's tomorrow, and I'm going to go to All American Comics, and I'm going to see if they've repriced their Superman stuff. Because if they have, then obviously it's already starting, and the window to pick up this kind of stuff, of what it used to be before the movie versus the pricing after the movie, that will have um, faded away, and I will have missed that opportunity. There's still an opportunity now, and I have $38, and we're going to do that tomorrow. So I will be back here tomorrow, this time with another Superman haul. Let's see what my $38 picks up, and we'll see if it's a, quality versus volume, or maybe something in between. But today was definitely quality over volume today. 4 books, $40, but man, did we pick up some big heavy hitters here. Oh man, these are heavy. These are going right on the wall. I mean, I don't know more to do except put these 2 books on the wall and just celebrate them. Whew. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go back and watch some of my other stuff. So you have a sort of a, if you're coming here because the Superman algorithm is bringing you here, that's great. But guys like Wellbore, guys like Fanboy, guys have been following me. I appreciate. I feel like this the movie is just it's a victory cry for all of us. So uh, if you, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this moment with me. But let's keep this momentum going, man. It's just to have all this um, gratification from all the books we picked up during the last couple of years in terms of my Superman collection. Um, it's been an incredible and fun ride, and it's not ending. But I feel like it's entering a new phase, and it's a phase that I don't know. I've got to kind of temper because I'm not gonna spend every like obsessive dime on trying to pick up stuff when it's elevated pricing, right? This is the thing about investing, right? You just like don't want to pick up stuff when it's too much. And I feel like I'm there. So for me, the prep work's been done. My stuff's gonna like go up. I'm not sure how much more stuff I'm gonna pick up over the next 10 years at these elevated prices that we're gonna see. Again, we're probably gonna see. For me, it'll be maybe strategically buying books here and there, digging in quarter bins. But yeah, I feel like there'll be a maybe one or two big books we'll target. And I think maybe selling some of these items in hopes of bigger stuff. Maybe that's another way I could leverage because didn't spend a lot on a lot of these, but we could sell them and at least get value for some of the higher value stuff, which is going to go up, but not as high or as fast because the intrinsic value of older stuff like that is already built in. So for those things to really move, it's got to be like auction worthy or something kind of in between. But those things tend to move like slower, but definitely they move up vastly. Um, but it takes, sometimes it takes like a certain sale on some of those like high value books. But the ones sitting in the shops, under the glass, I feel like those books are still relatively. People are going to price them toward the higher range, but depending on how high that is, there's potentially still a relatively bargain that can be had there. So we'll see. But again, I feel like D-Day was the movie day, and the days of like picking up DC stuff and Superman stuff for at least when it wasn't uh, a target in our collecting community. Now it's gonna be we're gonna see a lot of kids come into collecting now. We're gonna see a lot of younger people get into comic books, DC comic books, and want to maybe target some of the older stuff. But the old heads like me, we're going to continue to target this stuff now. I know a lot of people right out there right now who've been Superman fans. Maybe you just like take a break or whatever, but you're back on with Superman now. Superman's your pal. Your but yeah, if you're wanting to pick up stuff now, do it now, man. Do it now while you still have a window. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a catch up time for comic book prices to like for people are right now running around like a chicken with their head cut off. They're focusing on gun story related key books, but I would be more focused on the older books, the classic books in the DC canon, and start with stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like the first Todd McFarlane book. Come on. I get stuff like that in high grade. Slab it, do what you gotta do with it. That's stuff that will have value and retain its value over time. All right, guys, that's it for me. I'm running out of. I hope I have enough free hours to do a live stream with my haul tomorrow. I will know, I guess, after this. But thanks for watching. Summer of Superman continues. So if you like this, again, follow, join us here. I'm usually here Friday nights. When I run out of comic book money, it'll be Friday nights for sure. When I'm still picking up stuff, I'm going to be on tomorrow. I'm going to go to the comic book shop tomorrow. Our quest hasn't ended. We've got $38. We got to spend every last dime on a comic book. So see what I pick up tomorrow. Peace out. Later, guys.